3 years ago, I walked away from my life as a trophy wife, from my controlling tech mogul husband David, and from my teenage son who only saw me as a joke. I left behind the mansion, the luxury cars, and a life others envied but never understood. I traded it all for a modest home filled with music, laughter, and my adopted daughter Mai, who showed me what real love feels like. I thought I was finally safe. I built a successful music therapy practice. I helped Mai overcome her trauma from the foster system. We created the peaceful life I always dreamed of but never dared hope for. Then David and Jason showed up at Mai's first piano recital. David claims he's dying. He says he's changed. He wants us to be a family again. My son Jason, now in college, swears he regrets how he treated me. The expensive gifts started appearing at our door. The emails won't stop. I've caught glimpses of someone watching Mai at school. My newfound happiness is slipping through my fingers. Mai is having nightmares about being sent away. My practice is suffering. Every time David smiles at me, I feel those old chains tightening. But this time, I have someone depending on me. This time, I won't let anyone destroy what I've built. Before we start this video, buckle up, get ready, and subscribe for a special surprise tomorrow. I smooth Mai's dark hair, careful not to disturb the delicate butterfly clip holding back her bangs. Her reflection in the dressing room mirror shows the tension in her small shoulders, the way her fingers grip the edges of the piano bench. At 12 years old, she carries herself with a fragility that breaks my heart, but there's strength there, too. A resilience I recognize. Deep breath, sweetheart, I say, meeting her eyes in the mirror. Remember what we practiced. The music is already inside you. Mai nods, her lips pressed together. What if I mess up? Then you keep playing, I tell her. The same words my mother once said to me. The audience only knows what you tell them. If you act like it's part of the song, that's what they'll believe. A ghost of a smile touches her face. 3 years ago, when I first met Mai at the group home, she barely spoke above a whisper. Now she's about to perform Debussy's Clair de Lune in front of 200 people. The pride swelling in my chest threatens to overwhelm me. The memory intrudes without warning, sharp as broken glass. Jason, 14 years old, leaning in the doorway of my music room. Mom, why do you even bother? Dad says you're just playing. At being cultured. It's embarrassing. His father's smirk on his adolescent face, already learning to wound with precision. I push the memory away. This moment belongs to Mai and me, to the life we've built together. My phone buzzes with a text from Angela, my business partner at the therapy center. She's saved seats in the front row. I text back a quick thanks, then turn my attention back to Mai. 5 minutes until places, calls the stage manager, poking her head into the dressing room. Mai's hands flutter to her navy blue dress, smoothing non-existent wrinkles. I chose it carefully, wanting something that would make her feel both elegant and comfortable. The color brings out the warmth in her skin, makes her look less pale under the stage lights. You look beautiful, I tell her, and you're going to play beautifully. She stands, wrapping her arms around my waist in a fierce hug. Thanks, Mom. The word still catches me off guard sometimes, fills me with wonder. The adoption was finalized 6 months ago, but Mai had started calling me Mom well before that, tentatively at first, then with growing confidence. Each time, it feels like a gift I'm not sure I deserve. We make our way backstage, where other young performers and their parents mill about. I notice the subtle ways Mai draws inward, making herself smaller in the crowd. My hand finds her shoulder, anchoring her. The first few performers take their turns. A violin duet, a vocal solo, a guitar piece. Mai watches intently, her fingers moving slightly as if playing along. Music has been our shared language from the beginning, the way we learned to trust each other. I think about the first time I visited the group home, carrying my guitar and a dream of starting a music therapy program. Mai sat apart from the other children, watching. When I started playing, she edged closer, drawn to the melody like a cautious cat. By the end of that first session, she was sitting next to me, her small hand hovering over the strings. Mai Chen, the stage manager calls. You're up next. She squares her shoulders, lifting her chin in a way that reminds me of myself. I squeeze her hand one last time and watch her walk onto the stage, her steps measured and deliberate. The spotlight catches her, transforming her simple blue dress into something luminous. She bows to polite applause, then settles at the piano. In the moment before she begins, I see her take that deep breath. The first notes of Clair de Lune float into the auditorium, clear and precise. Mai's touch is gentle but confident, coaxing the melody from the keys rather than forcing it. I close my eyes, letting the music wash over me. When I open them again, movement in the back of the auditorium catches my attention. A tall figure slipping into a rear seat. Something about the way he moves sends ice through my veins. I lean forward, squinting against the stage lights. It can't be, but I know that posture, that expensive suit, the way he commands attention just by entering a room. David, my ex-husband, is here, watching our daughter perform. No, not our daughter. My daughter. Mai reaches the crescendo, her music swelling to fill the space. She's playing beautifully, lost in the piece just as we practiced. She hasn't noticed him. She's safe in her bubble of music and light, but I see another figure join. David, taller, leaner with that same self-assured grace. Jason, my son, who I haven't seen since the divorce 3 years ago. They sit together in the shadows, watching. My heart pounds so hard I worry the people around me can hear it. Mai transitions into the final section of the piece, her touch growing softer, more delicate. I force myself to focus on her, on this moment we've prepared for. The final notes fade away. The audience erupts in applause. Mai stands, bows, her face flushed with achievement. I clap until my hands hurt, trying to drown out the fear crawling up my spine. When she comes off stage, I wrap her in a hug, breathing in the familiar scent of her strawberry shampoo. You were amazing, sweetheart. Absolutely amazing. Really? I think I rushed the middle section a little. It was perfect, I assure her, steering her toward the dressing room. My eyes scan the crowded hallway, looking for familiar faces I don't want to see. Let's get your things and head home. We can celebrate with ice cream. Can we get Angela's too? Of course. Just let me text her. My hands shake as I pull out my phone. I type quickly. They're here. David and Jason. Get us out the back exit. Angela's reply comes instantly. On it. Meet you at the car. I help Mai gather her music and change back into her regular clothes, all while fighting the urge to look over my shoulder. We're almost to the back door when a voice stops me cold. Sarah. I turn slowly, pushing Mai slightly behind me. David stands there, barely aged from the last time I saw him. His dark hair has a touch more silver at the temples, but his face is still handsome, still carries that mixture of charm and calculation that once drew me in. Jason hovers behind him, transformed from the angry teenager I remember into a young man. He has his father's height now, his father's confidence, but something in his expression seems different, uncertain. Your daughter plays beautifully, David says, as if he has any right to comment on Mai's performance, as if he has any right to be here at all. Mai's fingers dig into my arm. I feel her trembling. Thank you, I say, my voice steady despite the fear churning in my stomach. But we need to go. Sarah, please. We need to talk. No, we don't. I turn away, guiding Mai toward the exit where I know Angela is waiting. David's voice follows. Us. I'm dying, Sarah. I keep walking, but the words hit me like physical blows. Dying. A manipulation? A truth? With David, it was always hard to tell the difference. The cool night air hits my face as we push through the door. Angela's car idles at the curb, its headlights a beacon of safety. I help Mai into the back seat, then slide in beside her. As we pull away, I catch a glimpse of David and Jason in the rearview mirror, standing in the pool of light from the stage door. My past and my present colliding in ways I never wanted. Mai leans against me, her body still trembling slightly. Mom, who were those men? I stroke her hair, trying to find the right words. How do I explain that the life I've built for us, this peaceful existence filled with music and love, might be under threat? No one important, I say finally. Let's go get that ice cream. But as Angela drives us away from the recital hall, I can't shake the feeling that everything is about to change, that the carefully constructed walls between my past and present are beginning to crumble. I wake before dawn, my heart racing from another nightmare. In the dream, I was back in the mansion, wandering endless hallways while David's voice echoed around me, always just out of sight. When I finally reached Mai's room, it was empty, with only a butterfly hair clip left on the pillow. The reality of my bedroom gradually settles around me. No marble floors or crystal chandeliers here, just warm wooden floors and simple cotton sheets. I can hear Mai's gentle breathing through the wall, still peaceful in sleep. 3 days have passed since the recital. 3 days of jumping at shadows and checking therapy sessions for the week, but work helps keep my mind focused. I need the routine, the reminder that this life I've built is real and solid. I pad to the kitchen, starting coffee and reviewing Mai's schedule for the day. School, then her regular therapy session with Dr. Liu, then homework, normal things, safe things. The doorbell rings. I freeze. Coffee pot halfway to the counter. It's barely 6 a.m. Through the window, I can see a delivery van pulling away from the curb. On the doorstep sits an elaborate arrangement of white orchids, their delicate blooms almost luminous in the pre-dawn light. My stomach clenches. David always sent orchids when he was trying to apologize, when he wanted to smooth over some transgression. With expensive gestures, I bring the flowers flowers inside, hands shaking as I read the card. The years have only made you more beautiful. Let me explain everything, please. The card joins yesterday's roses in the trash, the orchids I take to the senior center down the street. I will not let him fill my home with his presence again. Mai emerges from her room as I return, already dressed in her school uniform. More flowers? Nothing important, I say, forcing a smile. Ready for breakfast? She nods, but her eyes linger on my face. Mai has always been too perceptive, too attuned to the emotional currents around her. A survival skill from her years in the system that breaks my heart. I drive her to school myself instead of letting her take the bus. Just a precaution, I tell myself. The security guard at the gate knows me, knows that Mai is only to leave with me or Angela. I watch until she disappears into the building before heading to the therapy center. My first client is a 7-year-old boy struggling with selective mutism. As we work through simple rhythm exercises, my phone buzzes repeatedly in my pocket. I ignore it until our session ends. 5 emails from David's personal account, 2 from his assistant, 3 from unknown numbers that I suspect are Jason's latest attempts to reach me. I delete them all unread. Sarah? Angela appears in my doorway, concern etched on her face. There's something you need to see. She leads me to her office, where her computer displays our center's financial records. Someone's been making large anonymous donations over the past month. I finally trace them. They're coming from shell companies, but they all lead back to David's corporation. The room spins slightly. How much? Nearly $500,000 so far. Sarah, he's positioning himself to take control of the center. If he keeps this up, the board will have to consider giving him a seat. My sanctuary, the business I built from nothing after the divorce. Of course, David would try to take it from me. Block the donations, I say. Return what's already been given. I will not let him buy his way back into my life. Angela nods, already typing. There's something else. Mai's school called while you were in session. Someone's been watching the playground during recess. A man in an expensive suit. Ice floods my veins. Call Dr. Liu. Move Mai's therapy appointment up to right after school. I'll pick her up myself. The rest of the day passes in a blur of anxiety and hypervigilance. Every client deserves my full attention, but my mind keeps drifting to Mai, to David, to all the ways my carefully constructed piece could shatter. When I arrive at the school, Mai isn't waiting in the usual spot. Panic claws at my throat until I spot her walking with her music teacher, Mrs. Chen. Sorry to worry you, Mrs. Chen says as they approach. Mai was helping me organize the sheet. Music for next week's choir practice. Mai slides into the passenger seat, unusually quiet. I wait until we're pulling out of the parking lot before asking, "Everything okay, sweetheart?" "Someone left me a present in my locker," she says softly. A really expensive music box. It plays Claire de Lune. My hands tighten on the steering wheel. "Did you bring it home?" She shakes her head. "I gave it to the office. You always say not to accept gifts from strangers." Pride mingles with fear in my chest. My smart, careful girl. Good decision. Did you see who left it? No, but there was a boy watching me at recess. He looked like that man from the recital. The younger one, Jason. My son is stalking my daughter. At Dr. Liu's office, I brief her quickly on the situation while Mai settles in the waiting room. The therapist's usual calm demeanor shows traces of concern. "I'll help her process this," she assures me. "But Sarah, you need support too. Have you considered returning to therapy yourself?" I shake my head. I need to stay focused. Mai needs me to be strong. Being strong doesn't mean handling everything alone. I manage a weak smile. I'll think about it. While Mai is in session, I check my email again. The newest message from David makes my blood run cold. I know about Mai's foster homes, the evaluations. "Do you really think you can give her the stability she needs? Let me help. We can be a proper family." A threat wrapped in concern, just like always. But he's wrong if he thinks he can use Mai's past against me. Every incident, every evaluation, every detail of her history was carefully documented during the adoption process. She's my daughter legally and emotionally, and I will protect her. My phone rings. Unknown number, but I recognize the Seattle area code where Jason attends university. "Mom, please," he says when I answer. "Just talk to me. I know I was horrible to you, but I've changed. College opened my eyes to how Dad manipulated both of us. I want to make things right by spying on Mai at school." A pause. "I just wanted to see my sister." "She is not your sister," I say, my voice sharp. "She is my daughter, and you are terrifying her. Stay away from her school, stay away from our home, and tell your father to stop with the gifts and donations." "He's really sick, Mom. Mom, the doctors gave him 6 months. Can't you at least hear him out? I end the call, hands shaking. 6 months. The words echo in my head, along with all the times David claimed various crises to get his way. How many business? Emergencies. Family emergencies. Health scares had he manufactured over our marriage to keep me in line? Mai emerges from her session looking drained but calmer. Dr. Liu gives me a reassuring nod. Ice cream? I suggest as we walk to the car. Our usual post-therapy tradition. Mai shakes her head. Can we just go home? I'm tired. At home, she retreats to her room to practice piano. The gentle notes of a Chopin nocturne drift through the house as I prepare dinner. Normal sounds, safe sounds. The doorbell rings again. Through the peephole, I see a courier with another package. I open the door just enough to sign for it. Inside the small box is a familiar piece of jewelry, the sapphire pendant David gave me on our 10th anniversary. I'd left it behind during the divorce, along with every other gift he'd ever given me. The note reads, "Remember when I promised to love you forever? I meant it then, and I mean it now. Please, Sarah, let me prove it to you." The necklace goes into the drawer with the other gifts I've been documenting. Evidence, in case I need it. From upstairs, Mai's piano music falters, then stops. I hear her footsteps, then her voice, small and frightened. "Mom, there's someone in the backyard." I race upstairs, pulling her away from the window. In the gathering dusk, a figure stands by our garden. Even at this distance, I recognize Jason's tall frame. "Go to my room," I tell Mai. "Lock the door and call Angela." I grab the baseball bat from the hall closet and head downstairs. By the time I reach the back door, Jason is gone, leaving only footprints in Mai's carefully tended flower bed. That night, I lie awake listening to the sounds of the house, jumping at every creak and rustle. My phone lights up with another email. "I'm dying, Sarah. Don't let my last months be filled with regret. Let me know my son. Let me know your daughter. Let me love you again, properly this time." I delete it without responding, but sleep remains elusive. In the dark, I can admit the truth I've been avoiding. David was always most dangerous when he claimed to be acting out of love. The wall between my past and present is crumbling, and I'm not sure how to protect Mai from the fallout. My daughter's peaceful sleep in the next room is the only thing keeping me from running again, from packing our bags and disappearing to somewhere David's money and influence can't reach. But running won't solve anything. I ran once before, and here he is again. This time I have to stand my ground, for myself, for the life we've built together. Tomorrow, I'll call my lawyer. I'll increase security at the center and at my school. I'll do whatever it takes to keep us safe. But tonight, I just listen to my daughters breathing through the wall and try to believe that the happiness we've found is strong enough to withstand the storm that's coming. The morning after Jason's appearance in our backyard, I sit in my lawyer Rebecca's office, a thick folder of evidence spread between us. Photographs of the gifts, screenshots of emails, security footage from the therapy center showing David's recent visits. "This is good documentation," Rebecca says, reviewing the restraining order paperwork. "But you should know David's legal team has already contacted me. They're claiming his terminal diagnosis gives him the right to attempt family reconciliation. Is that true legally? No, but they have resources we don't. They'll drag this out, make it expensive." She meets my eyes. "Are you absolutely sure you want to pursue this?" My phone buzzes with a text from Angela. David is at the therapy center again, asking to observe my teaching methods, claiming professional patients. "I'm sure," I tell Rebecca. "Draw up whatever paperwork you need." The drive to my school feels longer than usual. Last night's fear has hardened into determination, but seeing Jason in our sanctuary shook me more than I want to admit. Mai was quiet at breakfast, picking at her food instead of eating. The school parking lot is unusually crowded. As I pull up to the drop-off area, I see why. A sleek black Mercedes idles near the entrance, David standing beside it in one of his perfectly tailored suits. Jason leans against the passenger door. Mai shrinks in her seat. "I don't want to go in." "You don't have to." I put the car in reverse, but David has already spotted us. He walks toward us, palms raised in a gesture of peace that makes my skin crawl. I lock the doors. "Mai, keep your head down and stay in the car." David reaches my window. I crack it barely an inch. "This is harassment, David. Leave us alone." "I'm dying, Sarah." His voice catches. A perfect performance of vulnerability. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. 6 months at best. Can't we put aside our differences? For Jason's sake, at least. If you're really dying, then spend your remaining time making peace with yourself. Leave my daughter out of it. Our son needs his mother. Our son is an adult who made his choices. I glance at Jason, still hovering by the car. And if he really wants to make amends, he can start by respecting our boundaries. boundaries. Mom, Jason calls out. Please, just 5 minutes. Mai whimpers in the back seat. The sound hardens my resolve. Move away from my car, or I call the police. David's mask slips for just a moment, showing the cold calculation beneath. Don't be dramatic, Sarah. Think about how this looks. A concerned father and brother trying to reunite their family, while you keep an innocent child from knowing her siblings. Step back, now. He complies, but his smile remains. You always did run from conflict, didn't you? Remember that charity gala when my mother criticized your background? You hid in the bathroom for an hour. The old shame rises, but I push it down. That was a different person, a different life. I back away from the curb, hands steady on the wheel despite my racing heart. In the rearview mirror, I watch David and Jason grow smaller, two dark figures against the morning sun. I'm sorry about school, I tell Mai. We'll figure something out. She nods. Still pale, but sitting straighter now. Can we go to the center? I like watching you teach. The therapy center has become our refuge over the years. The soundproofed practice rooms, the walls covered in children's artwork, the constant flow of music and healing. But now, David has tainted this space too. Angela meets us at the back entrance, her usually cheerful face tight with worry. Security turned him away, but he left this. She hands me an envelope thick with medical records. The diagnosis looks legitimate, Sarah. He really is dying. My hands tremble as I scan the documents. Oncology reports, treatment plans, prognosis estimates, all bearing the letterhead of prestigious hospitals. He used to fake business emergencies to manipulate me, I say. He once convinced me his mother was having heart surgery just to keep me from visiting my parents. These would be harder to fake, Angela points out gently. Multiple institutions, different doctors. Mai tugs at my sleeve. Mom, if he's really sick, does that mean we have to see him? I kneel down to her level, the way I did when we first met at the group home. No, his illness doesn't change anything. You are my daughter, and no one can force you to see anyone you don't want to see. She hugs me fiercely. Over her head, I see Angela watching us with concern. Sarah, she says quietly, the board wants to meet about the donations. They're not happy we returned them. Another trap. David knows the center operates on tight margins, that we take sliding scale payments to help families who can't afford private therapy. His money would help so many children. Schedule the meeting, I say. But first, I need to make some calls. The next few hours blur together. Calls to Mai's school about remote learning options. Calls to my clients about temporary schedule changes, calls to security companies about upgrading our home system. Mai settles in my office with her schoolwork, headphones on as she works through her online lessons. I watch her through the glass wall, marveling at her resilience. How many times has she had to adapt to survive? A message appears on my computer. A meeting request from David's corporate email. The subject line reads, Final Chances. The attached video shows Jason as a toddler, taking his first steps toward me. Then Jason at 5, playing the toy piano I bought him. Jason at 10, before David's influence turned him against me, still smiling with genuine love in family photos. The message reads, remember when we were happy, a mother and wife, instead of playing at being a therapist? Mai deserves a real family. Jason deserves his mother back. I deserve a chance to make things right before I die. I close the video as Mai looks up from her work. She pulls off her headphones. Can we get lunch? I'm hungry. Of course, sweetheart. What would you like? Could we go to that ramen place? The one with the red lanterns? Our favorite restaurant, where we celebrated her adoption being finalized, where we go on special occasions or when one of us needs comfort food. Perfect choice. The restaurant is quiet at this hour, most of the lunch crowd gone. We settle into our usual booth, Mai already reaching for the chopsticks. Mom? She asks, stirring her noodles. What happens if he really dies? Will you be sad? The question catches me off guard. I don't know, I answer honestly. It's complicated. Like how I sometimes miss my birth mom even though she hurt me? My throat tightens. Yes, exactly like that. Feelings don't always make sense, especially about family. Is Jason really my brother? No, biology doesn't make a family. Love does, trust does. She considers this, slurping up a long noodle. He looked sad in the parking lot. Sometimes, people can be sad and still make bad choices, I tell her. Like watching you at school without permission. That wasn't okay, even if he misses having a sister. Mai nods, but her expression remains troubled. Before she can ask more questions, movement at the restaurant entrance catches my attention. David walks in, Jason trailing behind him. They spot us immediately. Of course they do. They've probably been following us. I stand, putting myself between them and Mai. We're leaving. Sarah, please, David says, loud enough for other diners to hear. I'm trying to give my son a chance to know his sister before I die. How can you be so cruel? She's not his sister, I say, my voice steady despite the panic rising in my chest. And this is harassment. It's a public place, Jason argues. We have every right to be here. Mai's chair scrapes back. She steps around me, me, facing David and Jason with trembling determination. "Leave my mom alone," she says, her voice small but clear. "You're scaring her." David's expression softens into something almost genuine. "Sweet girl, we're not trying to scare anyone. We just want to be a family again." "We are a family," Mai says. "Just me and Mom. Please go away." Jason takes a step forward. "Mai, I know this is weird, but I really do want to be your brother, to make up for how I treated Mom. If you want to make up for it, stop following us," I say, wrapping an arm around Mai's shoulders. "Stop showing up where we live and work and eat. Stop using David's illness as emotional blackmail." "Emotional blackmail?" David's voice rises. "I'm dying, Sarah. Our son finally wants to make amends. How dare you keep poisoning everyone against me even now?" Other diners are staring. The restaurant manager approaches, looking concerned. "Is everything all right here?" "No," I say firmly. "These men are harassing us. Please call the police." David's mask cracks completely. "You vindictive witch. You'd rather call the police than let your son apologize? Rather let me die alone than consider forgiveness?" Mai bursts into tears, the sound cutting through the tension like a knife. I gather her close, feeling her whole body shake. "You're scaring my daughter," I tell them, my voice ice cold. "Leave now, or I press charges for harassment." Jason grabs David's arm. "Dad, stop. This isn't helping." For a moment, something like shame crosses David's face. Then his expression hardens again. "This isn't over, Sarah. You can't keep running forever." They leave before the police arrive. I hold Mai while she cries, stroking her hair and promising her that everything will be okay. But we both know things have changed irrevocably. "I want to go home," she whispers against my shoulder. "Home, where Jason stood in our garden last night, where David's flowers arrive like warnings, where every shadow might hide another attempt at forced reconciliation. But it's still our home, our safe place, and I won't let them take that from us." "Okay, sweetheart, let's go home." The restaurant manager comps our meal and walks us to our car. I drive home taking a circuitous route, checking constantly to make sure we're not being followed. Mai falls asleep on the couch while I make calls. To Rebecca about expediting the restraining order. To the security company about installing cameras tonight instead of next week. To Angela about moving my sessions to video calls temporarily. My phone buzzes with a text from Jason. "I'm sorry about Dad's behavior, but he really is dying, Mom. Please don't let your last memory of him be anger." I block his number, then David's, then every unknown number that's contacted me recently. It won't stop them for long, but it might give us a moment's peace. Whimpering in her sleep. I sit beside her, humming the Debussy piece she played at her recital. Her features slowly relax. Tomorrow we'll deal with the legal battles, the board meeting, the logistics of protecting ourselves. But right now, watching my daughter sleep, I know with absolute certainty that I'm doing the right thing. David's illness, if it's real, doesn't erase the years of manipulation. Jason's remorse, however genuine, doesn't give him the right to force his way back into my life. And neither of them has any claim on the family Mai and I have built. I reach for my phone one last time, sending a message to Rebecca. Whatever it costs, whatever it takes, keep them away from us. Her reply comes quickly. "Already on it. We'll protect your family, Sarah, the real one." Mai shifts in her sleep, curling closer to me. I stroke her hair, remembering the frightened girl in the group home who flinched at sudden movements, who needed months to trust that I wouldn't leave her, who showed me what real love feels like. No, David won't destroy this. Not with guilt. Not with money. Not with terminal diagnoses or childhood videos or public scenes. This time, I'm not running. This time, I'm fighting back. The security cameras are installed by nightfall, their small red lights blinking steadily around our property. Mai watches from her bedroom window as the technicians finish up, her homework spread untouched across her desk. "Will they keep us safe?" she asks when I bring her dinner. "They'll help," I tell her, setting down the plate of pasta. Along with the new locks and the alarm system, she picks at her food, pushing the noodles around without eating. What if they try to take me away? My heart clenches. They can't, sweetheart. The adoption is final. You're my daughter legally and in every way that matters. But he has money. The man at the restaurant, your ex-husband, he could get lawyers. I sit beside her on the bed, pulling her close. "Listen to me. David may have money, but we have the truth, and we have Rebecca, who's the best family lawyer in Seattle." Mai leans into me, her small body still tense. "I had a family that said they wanted me before. Then they changed their minds. I will never change my mind about you, I promise. Never." The doorbell rings, making us both jump. On the new security monitor, I see Angela standing on our porch with several shopping bags. "Just Angela," I assure Mai. "Stay here and try to eat something." Angela bustles in with her usual energy, but I can see the worry in her eyes. "The board meeting is set for tomorrow morning," she says, unpacking groceries. "I brought supplies so you don't have to go out." "Thank you." I help her store everything everything away, grateful for her practical support. How bad is it? David's been busy. He's contacted several board members individually, talking about expanding our programs with his funding. Some of them are swaying. She pauses. Sarah, maybe we should consider accepting the money with conditions. No. Once he gets his foot in the door, he'll take over everything, even if he's really dying. I lean against the counter, suddenly exhausted, especially if he's dying. He's always been most dangerous when he feels he's losing control. A soft thud from upstairs makes me tense, but it's just Mai moving around her room. The security cameras show nothing unusual outside. How is she holding up? Angela asks. She's scared. All her old abandonment fears are surfacing. I lower my voice. She asked if they could take her away from me. Angela's expression hardens. Over my dead body. We'll fight this, Sarah. The whole staff will back you. Even if it means losing David's funding? Even then, the center is yours. Your vision, your methods, your heart. She squeezes my hand. Don't let him make you doubt yourself again. After Angela leaves, I check on Mai. She's finally eating, the pasta half gone. Her math homework shows several completed problems. Can we practice piano? She asks. I need to keep my fingers strong for when I go back to school. My throat tightens at her determination. Of course. We sit together at the upright piano in the living room, the one I bought after the divorce when I was starting over. Mai begins. Her scales, each note precise and measured. The security monitor shows movement outside. A delivery van pulling up to our house. Keep playing, I tell Mai, moving to the front window. The delivery man leaves a large package on our porch. Through the camera, I watch him return to his van and drive away. I wait 10 minutes before retrieving the package. It's heavy, wrapped, in expensive paper with a gold bow. Inside is a baby grand piano. Not a full-sized one, but a quarter-scale model, exquisitely detailed. A note in David's handwriting reads, "For Mai, every talented musician deserves the best instruments." Mai appears beside me, drawn by my silence. It's beautiful. I catch her hand. We can't keep it. I know. Her voice is small but steady. It's like the music box. A trick. Pride mingles with sadness in my chest. My daughter shouldn't have to be this wise about manipulation. My phone rings. An unknown number. I silence it, but another call comes immediately. Mom? Jason's voice when I answer. Did the piano arrive? I helped pick it out. Stop sending gifts, Jason. Stop trying to buy your way back into my life. It's not about buying anything. Dad wants Mai to have the best opportunities. Like, you had? The bitterness surprises me. How many expensive instruments did he buy you before convincing you that my music was worthless? Silence on the line. Then, quietly, I was wrong back then. I know that now. Knowing isn't enough. Understanding isn't enough. You hurt me deliberately, Jason. You and your father both. That's why we want to make amends, while there's still time. I watch Mai return to the upright piano, her fingers finding the keys again. Real amends start with respect, with boundaries, with accepting no as an answer. He's dying, Mom. Actually, dying. The treatments aren't working. I believe you, but that doesn't change anything. Mai begins playing Claire de Lune, each note floating through the house like a memory. Listen to her, Jason says. She's talented, like you were before Dad made you stop. I never stopped. I just found a different way to use my music. I take a deep breath. Goodbye, Jason. I block the new number, adding it to the growing list. Mai finishes the piece, letting the final notes fade naturally. Was that Jason? Yes. He sounds different on the phone, less scary than at the restaurant. I sit beside her on the piano bench. People who hurt us often have many sides. It doesn't make the hurt less real. She considers this, picking out a simple melody with one finger. My birth mom was nice sometimes, when she wasn't using drugs, but she still left me. You're very wise, you know that? A small smile appears. Dr. Liu says I'm an old soul. The doorbell rings again. This time, the monitor shows a courier with an envelope. More medical records, more evidence of David's declining health, more pleas for reconciliation. Before it's too late, I add them to the growing file for Rebecca, then return to Mai at the piano. Show me what you're working on for your next lesson, I say. She launches into a Bach minuet, her concentration absolute. I watch her hands move across the keys, remembering how she used to hesitate, afraid of making mistakes. Now she plays through them, just as I taught her. My phone buzzes with texts from unknown numbers. Emails flood my inbox from new addresses. Voicemails pile up from blocked callers. David's love bombing continues through the evening. Flowers delivered hourly. Gift baskets. More childhood photos of Jason. Each delivery sets off the security cameras. Each ring of the doorbell makes my jump. By bedtime, she's exhausted. Can I sleep in your room? Of course. We make a nest of blankets on my floor, like we used to do when she first came to live with me. and was too scared to sleep alone. "Tell me the story again," she asks as we settle in, "about how you found me." I stroke her hair, remembering that first day at the group home. I was starting the music therapy program, bringing instruments to kids who needed healing, and I was hiding in the corner. "Yes, but when I started playing guitar, you crept closer, because it was pretty, like sunshine. By the end of the session, you were sitting right next to me, and I knew what? That you were my daughter, that we were meant to find each other." She yawns, curling closer. "Even though I was broken? You were never broken, sweetheart, just hurt, and hurt can heal." The security lights cast soft shadows on the wall. Outside, another delivery van pulls up. "Mom?" Mai's voice is sleepy. "We're stronger together, right? Always. Then we'll be okay, even with them trying to separate us." I hold her until her breathing evens out into sleep, my own eyes growing heavy. The last thing I see before drifting off is the notification of another email from David. "You can't protect her from the truth forever. Every child deserves to know their whole family." But he's wrong. Mai knows her family, the one we built together, note by note, day by day. No amount of expensive gifts or terminal diagnoses will change that truth. The board meeting starts at exactly 9 in the morning. I sit straight-backed in my chair, feeling the weight of 8 pairs of eyes on me as David's latest offer is presented. Mai is safe at home with Angela, working on her online lessons while I fight for our center's independence. $5 million, Board Chairman Wilson reads from the proposal, earmarked specifically for program expansion and scholarship funding. Mr. Chen's only condition is involvement in strategic planning and oversight of staff appointments, facility management, and curriculum development. He wants control, not involvement. "Sarah," Dr. Reynolds leans forward, her voice gentle, "we have to consider the children we could help with this funding. Think of how many families can't afford private therapy." I am thinking of them. I pull out the stack of documentation I've prepared. Look at David's pattern of donations to other organizations. He starts with unrestricted funds, then gradually implements changes that align with his vision, not the organization's mission. The evidence is damning when presented chronologically. 3 other nonprofits that accepted his help, all gradually transformed into something unrecognizable. "This is concerning," Wilson admits, reviewing the papers. But his terminal diagnosis changes things. He appears genuinely interested in leaving a positive legacy. A knock at the boardroom door interrupts us. The secretary enters with an urgent message. "Mr. Chen is here. He's requesting to address the board personally." My stomach drops. Of course he is. David walks in looking perfectly groomed despite his supposed illness. Only the slight pallor of his skin suggests any health issues. "I apologize for the interruption," he says smoothly, "but I felt it important to speak directly about my intentions." I start to stand. "This is inappropriate. Please, Sarah, hear me out." He turns to the board. "My former wife has built something remarkable here. I simply want to ensure it reaches its full potential. By taking control, I challenge. By providing resources and experience in scaling successful operations." He coughs delicately into a handkerchief. "Time has given me perspective on my past mistakes. I want to make amends while I still can." My phone buzzes. A text from Angela. "Jason just tried to visit Mai at the house. Security turned him away." Speaking of mistakes, I say, my voice steady despite my racing heart, "would those include sending your son to harass my daughter?" David's expression flickers. "Jason is simply trying to know his sister. Mai is not his sister, and your attempts to force a relationship are traumatizing her. The board doesn't need to be involved." "In personal matters," David says smoothly, "this isn't personal. This is about pattern recognition." I face the board members directly. David uses money to control people and situations. He's doing it to Mai with expensive gifts. He's doing it to Jason with promises of inheritance, and now he's trying to do it to this center. "Sarah," Dr. Reynolds begins, but I continue. "I've spent 3 years helping children heal from exactly this kind of manipulation, teaching them to recognize love bombing, gaslighting, and emotional coercion. How can I maintain the integrity of our program while accepting help from someone who embodies these harmful behaviors?" David's mask slips slightly. "You're letting bitterness cloud your judgment." "No, I'm seeing clearly for the first time in years." I lay out more documents. Here are David's medical records. Notice the inconsistencies between hospitals, the contradicting treatment dates. Wilson examines the papers with growing concern. These discrepancies are significant because they're manipulated I say, just like everything else. David steps forward. How dare you accuse me of faking cancer? I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm demonstrating your pattern of using medical emergencies to manipulate situations. Whether you're actually sick or not is irrelevant to this discussion. My phone buzzes again. Angela, Mai heard Jason at the door. She's upset but safe, coming to get you. The board needs to consider the broader implications, I continue. If we accept David's money, we're telling our clients that it's okay to sacrifice boundaries for financial security. That manipulation is acceptable if the perpetrator claims good intentions. The room falls silent. David stares at me with barely concealed rage. I think, Wilson says carefully, we need to examine these concerns more thoroughly before making any decisions. Take all the time you need, David replies, his smoothness returning. I only want what's best for the center and for our family. We are not family, I say firmly. Not anymore. My phone rings. Angela's number. Excuse me, I say, stepping out of the boardroom. This is about my daughter. Mai had a panic attack, Angela tells me. She's calmer now, but she keeps asking for you. I'm on my way. I return to the boardroom. I apologize, but I need to leave. My daughter needs me. Running away again, Sarah? David's voice is soft with false concern. Some things never change. No, some things do change. I've changed, and I won't let you hurt my family again. I gather my documents, heading for the door. David's voice follows me. The board will make the right decision. They understand the importance of proper funding, of integrity. I counter. Something you've never grasped. The drive home takes forever. Every red light an eternity. I find Mai curled up on the couch with Angela, clutching her favorite stuffed penguin. He said he just wanted to talk, Mai whispers when I hold her. But his voice was like before. At the restaurant, you did the right thing not opening the door, I tell her. You're safe. Angela pulls me aside while Mai calms down. Jason left this. She hands me a letter. He seemed genuinely upset about scaring her. I scan the contents quickly. More apologies, more pleas for understanding, more manipulation disguised as remorse. He's learned from his father well, I say, shredding the letter. Sarah, Angela hesitates. What if he really has changed? People do. Maybe he has, but that doesn't give him the right to force his way into our lives. I watch Mai picking out gentle notes on the piano. Change has to include respect for boundaries. My phone rings. Wilson's number. The board has concerns about the documentation discrepancies, he tells me. We're launching an investigation into Mr. Chen's previous donations. Thank you. Sarah, I want you to know that regardless of the outcome, your position here is secure. You've built something valuable. Relief floods through me. That means everything. I end the call to find Mai watching me. Is everything okay at the center? Yes, sweetheart. Everything's going to be fine. She moves over on the piano bench, making room for me. Can we play together? The song we're working on for the spring. Recital? We begin the duet, our hands moving in harmony across the keys. The security cameras blink steadily. Angela starts preparing lunch in the kitchen. Normal things, safe things. My phone shows missed calls from David and Jason, new emails demanding attention, more attempts to breach the walls we've built. But Mai's shoulder presses against mine as we play, her touch on the keys growing more confident with each measure. This is what matters. This is what we're protecting. The music flows between us, stronger than manipulation, stronger than guilt, stronger than any false promises of family reconciliation. We play until the anxiety eases from Mai's posture, until her breathing syncs with the rhythm of the song, until the morning's fear melts into afternoon peace. This is how we heal, note by note, day by day, together. I find the first hard evidence of David's deception in a stack of medical records Rebecca subpoenaed. The treatment dates overlap impossibly, showing him receiving chemotherapy in Seattle while simultaneously consulting specialists in Boston. The oncologist's signatures don't match across documents. The diagnostic images have subtle inconsistencies. He's faking the cancer, I tell Rebecca over video chat, Mai safely occupied with her online music theory class down the hall. Or at least exaggerating it. This is good for the restraining order, Rebecca says, making notes. Shows a clear pattern of manipulation. But Sarah, be careful how you use this information. He'll retaliate if he feels cornered. She's right. I learned long ago that David is most dangerous when exposed. My phone lights up with a text from Angela. Board meeting went into emergency session. David showed up with new medical records. He's making his move, I tell Rebecca. We need to act fast. I'll file the amended restraining order today. Keep documenting everything. I end the call and check on Mai. She's absorbed in her lesson. Headphones on, practicing rhythm patterns with colored blocks. The security cameras show nothing unusual outside. A knock at the door makes us both jump. Through the security feed, I see Jason standing on our porch, but something's different. His shoulders are hunched, his usual confidence absent. "Stay here," I tell Mai, who's already tensing up. "I'll handle this." I open the door just enough to speak through the security chain. "You need to leave." "Mom, please." His voice cracks. "Dad's been lying to everyone about the cancer, about wanting to make amends. About everything. I know." "No, you don't understand. He's not just manipulating you. He's manipulating me, too." Jason runs a hand through his hair, a gesture so like his teenage self that my heart aches. "I found the real medical records. He has some health issues, but nothing terminal. He's using me to get to you and Mai." I study his face through the gap. The son who once parroted his father's cruelty now looks lost, almost afraid. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I saw Mai's face when I came to the house yesterday. She looked at me the way I used to look at Dad when he was angry. I never wanted to be that person." Mai appears in the hallway behind me, drawn by the voices despite my warning. "Is he telling the truth?" she asks softly. Jason's eyes fill with tears. "I'm so sorry, Mai. I never meant to scare you. Dad said if I start my own company, I let him use me again, just like when I was a kid." I feel Mai's small hand slip into mine. "Mom?" Every instinct screams to protect her, to send Jason away, but I remember how long it took me to break free from David's manipulation, how much courage it takes to admit being wrong. "If you're serious about making amends," I tell Jason, "prove it. Go to Rebecca's office. Tell her everything you know about David's deception. Formally, on record." "He'll cut me off completely." "Yes, he will." Jason straightens up slightly. "Okay, I'll do it. Not for Dad's forgiveness, but for yours and Mai's." "I don't forgive you yet," I say honestly, "but I'm proud of you for telling the truth." Mai squeezes my hand. "Me too." A car appears at the end of our street, moving slowly. Even at this distance, I recognize David's Mercedes. "Go," I tell Jason, "before he sees you here." He nods, already backing away. "I'll call Rebecca right now." I close and lock the door, guiding Mai away from the windows. The security cameras track David's car as it parks across the street. "Is he going to be mad at Jason?" Mai asks. "Probably, but Jason is an adult now. He's making his own choices." My phone rings. The board chairman. "Sarah, you need to see this. Mr. Chen just presented new medical documents that completely contradict his previous records, because they're all fake," I say. "Jason is on his way to Rebecca's office to provide evidence." Silence on the line. Then, "The board will want to hear his testimony directly. I'll have Rebecca arrange it." The doorbell rings. On the security feed, David stands on our porch, another envelope in his hands. "I know you're in there, Sarah," he calls out. "We need to talk about Jason's confusion." Mai presses against me. "He sounds angry. He's losing control." I tell her, "But he can't hurt us." My phone buzzes with messages. Rebecca confirming Jason's arrival at her office. Angela alerting the board members. The security company monitoring the situation. David rings the bell again. "Don't turn our son against me, Sarah. Don't make me take legal action. Call the police," I tell the security company through their app. "He's violating the temporary restraining order." Mai and I wait in the living room, listening to David's increasing demands from outside. The security cameras show him pacing, making calls, his composure cracking. "I have proof of your interference with my medical treatment," he shouts. "Proof that you're poisoning everyone against me. Is this what you're teaching Mai? To destroy families?" Sirens approach in the distance. David's face contorts with rage. "This isn't over," he snarls at the nearest camera. "You've never been able to survive without me. You'll come crawling back when the money runs out." The police arrive, their presence forcing David to retreat. We watch through the windows as they issue warnings, take statements, document his violations. "Mom?" Mai's voice is thoughtful. "Is Jason going to be okay?" "I hope so. It's hard to break free from someone like David. It takes courage." "Like, you did?" "Yes, but I had something worth fighting for." She hugs me fiercely. "Me too." My phone lights up with updates. Jason's sworn statement about David's deception. The board's unanimous rejection of David's funding. Rebecca's confirmation that the restraining order will be extended to include financial harassment. "What happens now?" Mai asks. "We keep living our life, keep making music, keep being a family." She nods, then moves to the piano. Her fingers find the keys, and the opening notes of Claire de Lune fill our home. I join her on the bench, adding harmony to her melody. Outside, David's car finally drives away. The security cameras blink steadily. The afternoon sun warms the room. We play together, our music stronger than fear, stronger than manipulation, stronger than any false promises of reconciliation. This is our truth. This is our family. This is our home. Note by note, day by day, we heal. The morning after David's confrontation at our house, I wake to an unusual silence. No deliveries, no security alerts, no messages demanding attention. Just the soft sound of Mai practicing piano scales downstairs. Then my phone rings. Rebecca's number. David's lawyers are threatening to challenge Mai's adoption, she tells me without preamble. They're claiming you were emotionally unstable during the process and hid your history of mental health treatment. Ice floods my veins. What mental health treatment? Exactly. They've fabricated records showing you sought treatment for depression and anxiety during your marriage. They're trying to paint you as an unreliable guardian. I grip the phone tighter. Can they do this? They can try, but Mai's adoption is solid. We have 3 years of documentation showing she's thriving in your care. Plus, Jason's testimony about David's pattern of deception. A crash from downstairs interrupts us. I race down to find Mai standing in the kitchen, a broken glass at her feet, water spreading across the floor. I heard you talking, she whispers. They want to take me away. I carefully step around the glass to reach her. No, they can't take you away. Rebecca won't let them. But what if they lie? Like they lied about being sick. I pull her close, feeling her whole body trembling. Listen to me. You are my daughter. Legally, officially, and in every way that matters. David can't change that with lies. My phone buzzes with a text from Angela. David just showed up at the center with a film crew. Claims he's documenting systemic abuse in music therapy programs. Mom? Mai's voice is small. I'm scared. I know, sweetheart, but we're going to fight this together. I clean up the broken glass while Mai calls Dr. Liu for an emergency session. The therapist agrees to come to our house, understanding Mai's need for security right now. Rebecca arrives before Dr. Liu, carrying boxes of legal documents. We need to review everything from the adoption process, every evaluation, every home, study, every character reference. Mai retreats to the piano room with her headphones while we spread papers across the dining room table. 3 years of building our family, documented in official forms and court records. Look at this, Rebecca says, highlighting a section. The original home study specifically notes Mai's improvement after moving in with you. Her grades, her social interactions, her emotional stability, all documented by independent evaluators. Will that be enough? Combined with Jason's testimony about David's manipulation? It should be. But Sarah, you need to be prepared. This is going to get ugly. My phone lights up with news alerts. David's film crew captured footage of children having therapy sessions at the center. He's claiming our methods are experimental and dangerous. He's trying to destroy everything, I say softly, because he's losing control, Rebecca reminds me. This is desperation, not strength. Dr. Liu arrives as we're organizing evidence. The sound of Mai's therapy session drifts from the piano room, music mixing with gentle conversation. A knock at the door makes us all tense. The security camera shows Jason, alone and looking anxious. Dad's lawyers contacted me, he says when I let him in. They want me to retract my testimony. Say I was confused or manipulated by you. Will you? He straightens his shoulders. No, I'm done letting him control me. But Mom, he's threatening to expose things about my own mental health treatment. Things that could affect my graduate school applications. My heart aches for my son, still struggling to break free. We'll help you fight this, Jason. Rebecca can protect you too. Mai appears in the hallway, her therapy session finished. She studies Jason with cautious eyes. He tried to make you lie too? She asks. Jason nods. But I won't. Not anymore. Why not? He's your dad. Because lies hurt people. I hurt Mom with lies for years. I won't hurt anyone else that way. Mai considers this, then holds out her hand. Want to hear what I'm working on for the spring recital? Jason looks at me questioningly. I nod. They sit together at the piano, Mai showing Jason the piece she's practicing. Their interaction is tentative, but genuine. My phone buzzes. The board chairman, David's film crew footage violated patient confidentiality laws. We're filing an injunction. Small victories, but David's resources seem endless. We need to go on the offensive, Rebecca says, reviewing her notes. Show that this custody challenge is part of a larger pattern of harassment. How? By documenting everything. The fake cancer, the financial manipulation, the emotional abuse during your marriage. Build a case that proves this isn't about Mai's welfare at all. Jason joins us at the table while Mai continues practicing. I have emails, he offers. Dad's instructions about how to manipulate you both. Promises of rewards if I helped him. Rebecca nods approvingly. That's exactly what we need. The doorbell rings. Security footage shows David's lawyer on our porch. Don't answer, Rebecca advises. Everything goes through me now. We watch through the cameras as the lawyer leaves a thick envelope by the door. More threats disguised as legal documents. More attempts to break us down. Mai's music grows louder, more determined. The piece she's working on is complex, full of difficult transitions and emotional depth. She's amazing, Jason says softly. Like you were, Mom, before Dad made you stop. He didn't make me stop. I correct him. He made me hide, but I never stopped playing. I never stopped teaching. I just found a different way to use music. The security system alerts us to another car approaching. Angela's this time. The board is meeting an emergency session, she tells us. They want statements from everyone. We work together, documenting every interaction, every manipulation, every attempt at control. Mai's music provides a soundtrack to our resistance. My phone shows more missed calls from David's lawyers, more emails threatening exposure, more attempts to shake our foundation. But Mai keeps playing. Jason keeps writing his statement. Rebecca keeps building our defense. This is how we fight back. With truth against lies, with love against manipulation, with music against fear. The afternoon sun slants through the windows as Mai begins Claire de Lune, the piece that started everything when David and Jason appeared at her recital. But this time, the music doesn't bring anxiety. This time, it brings strength. We are building something stronger than David's lies, something that can't be broken by legal threats or false accusations or manipulated records. We are building a true family, not one bound by obligation or fear, but by choice and love and healing. Mai's music fills our home, drowning out the sounds of papers shuffling and phones buzzing and cars passing, drowning out the echoes of David's threats and manipulation. This is our truth. This is our strength. This is our family, and we will protect it, note by note, day by day, together. Mai disappears on a Tuesday morning. One moment she's practicing piano before her online lessons. The next, the house falls silent. I find her bedroom window open, curtains billowing in the spring breeze. My hands shake as I call the police, then Rebecca, then Angela. The security cameras show nothing unusual, but there's a 10-minute gap in the footage, precisely when Mai must have left. She wouldn't run away, I tell the officers taking my statement. She's been anxious about David's threats, but she wouldn't leave voluntarily. They take notes, ask questions, examine the window. No signs of forced entry. They say, no evidence of struggle. They'll treat it as a missing person case, but without proof of abduction, their options are limited. My phone rings. Unknown number. I know where Mai is. David's voice is smooth, controlled. She's safe. She came to me for help. You took her. She left on her own. Smart girl. She knows what's best for her future. I grip the phone so hard my fingers ache. Where is she? At my mother's old foster home. Where you found her. Quite poetic, don't you think? She wanted to return to her roots. The line goes dead before I can respond. Jason arrives as I'm grabbing my car keys. Dad's lying, he says immediately. I checked the security footage at his house. He had someone hack our system, create that gap in coverage. Mai didn't leave willingly. I know. He's taken her to her old foster home. I'm coming with you. No, call Rebecca. Tell her where we're going. Have her send the police. The drive to the foster home takes forever. Every red light an eternity. I remember the first time I made this journey. Guitar in hand, heart full of hope about starting a music therapy program. The building looks abandoned now. Windows dark, paint peeling. David's Mercedes sits in the cracked parking lot. Quite the dramatic location, he says as I approach. He stands in the doorway, perfectly composed despite everything. Remember when you found her here? Such a scared little thing, until you swooped in with your music and your promises. Where is she? Inside, realizing some important truths about family. I push past him into the building. The musty air brings back memories of Mai's first days here, how she flinched at loud noises, how she watched everyone with wary eyes. Mai, I call out, my voice echoing through empty halls. A muffled sound from upstairs. I race up the worn steps, following the noise to a familiar room, the one where I first played guitar for the foster children. Mai sits in the corner, tears streaming down her face. She's not restrained, but fear keeps her frozen in place. Mom, she whispers when she sees me. It's okay, sweetheart. I'm here. David appears in the doorway behind me. Such a touching reunion, but ultimately pointless. The adoption papers are being challenged as we speak. My lawyers are very thorough. Your lawyers can't change the truth, I say, moving toward Mai. They can't change what we are to each other. Truth? He laughs softly. The truth is you're playing at being a mother, just like you played at being a musician, just like you play at running that little therapy center. Mai stands slowly, her face changing from fear to anger. Stop lying. She's a real musician, a real therapist, a real mom. Sweetheart, you don't understand adult matters. I understand lying, Mai says, her voice stronger. I understand hurting people to control them. My birth mom did that too. David's composure cracks slightly. You ungrateful little... Don't, I warn him. Don't threaten my daughter. Sirens wail in the distance, growing closer, always running to others for help. You never could handle things on your own. No, I learned to ask for help. I learned that real strength isn't about control. I reach for Mai's hand. It's about love. She takes my hand, squeezing tight. We move toward the door together. You can't leave, David says, but his voice wavers. The papers, the lawyers, can't change what's real. I finish for him. Can't change what Mai and I built together. The police arrive, filling the old building with authoritative voices and flashlight beams. David straightens his suit jacket, trying to maintain dignity as they handcuff him. Kidnapping charges, the officer tells me, plus evidence tampering, cyber crimes for the security system hack, violation of restraining orders. Mai presses against my side as we watch them lead David away. Can we go home now? Yes, sweetheart, let's go home. Jason meets us in the parking lot, relief clear on his face. Rebecca's handling everything. The adoption challenge is falling apart now that Dad's shown his true colors. In the car, Mai sits between us, holding both our hands. Her grip is strong, certain. I knew you'd find me, she says softly. Real family always finds each other. The setting sun paints the sky orange as we drive home. Mai hums Claire de Lune under her breath, the melody a gentle reminder of everything we've overcome. This is our truth. This is our strength. This is our family, built not on obligation or control, but on love and trust and music. Note by note, day by day, together, forever. The police station feels too bright, too sterile as I give my statement about Mai's kidnapping. Every detail matters, they tell me. The gap in security footage, the threatening phone calls, the history of harassment leading up to this moment. Mai sits beside me, her small hand gripping mine as she tells her own story. How she was practicing piano when someone grabbed her from behind. How they covered her mouth and carried her to a waiting car. How David met them at the foster home, speaking softly about family and future while fear kept her frozen in that corner. You're very brave, the detective tells her, gathering her notes. Both of you are. Through the interview room window, I can see David in custody, his expensive suit wrinkled, his composure finally shattered. He keeps demanding his lawyers, keeps insisting it was all a misunderstanding. Jason arrives with Rebecca, carrying a stack of new evidence. Emails proving David orchestrated the kidnapping, bank transfers to the men who took Mai, detailed plans to challenge the adoption once he had physical custody of her. He never intended to win legally, Jason explains, his voice heavy with shame. The court challenges were just a distraction while he planned this. Mai squeezes my hand. Can we go home now? Soon, sweetheart. We just need to finish the paperwork. Rebecca pulls me aside while Mai talks with the victim advocate. The DA is pressing multiple felony charges. With Jason's evidence and Mai's testimony, David's looking at serious prison time. What about the adoption challenge? Already dismissed. The judge was furious when she learned about the kidnapping. She's issued a permanent order barring David from any contact with Mai. Relief floods through me, but it's tempered by the weight of everything Mai has endured. Will she be okay? She has you, Rebecca says simply. She has love and support and therapy. She'll heal. The victim advocate approaches with Mai. She's done for now. We can continue tomorrow if needed. Mai looks exhausted but determined. I told them everything. About the scary man grabbing me. About David's lies. About how you found me. You did perfectly, I assure her. Jason steps forward hesitantly. Mai, I'm so sorry about what Dad did. What I helped him do before. She studies him with those wise eyes that see straight to the truth. You helped Mom find me. That's what matters now. Through the window, we see David being led to a holding cell. He catches sight of us and stops, something like real emotion finally crossing his face. Sarah, he calls out, please, I only wanted our family back. This was never about family, I tell him through the glass. This was about control, and you've lost it forever. Mai turns away from him, tugging my hand. Let's go home, Mom. I want to play piano. The drive home feels different this time, lighter somehow, despite everything we've been through. Mai sits in the back seat with Jason, showing him videos of her recent performances on my phone. You're really talented, he tells her. Like Mom was at your age. Mai corrects him. Like Mom is, she still plays beautifully. At home, the security system blinks steadily, upgraded and strengthened after the breach. Angela has been there, leaving dinner in the oven and fresh flowers on the piano. Mai goes straight to the instrument, her fingers finding the keys with familiar comfort. The opening notes of Claire Jason sits on the couch watching her play. I forgot how peaceful music can be. Dad always made it seem like a weakness. Music is strength, I tell him. It heals, it connects, it saves. Mai's playing grows more confident with each measure. No more fear in her touch, no more hesitation in the difficult passages. Mom, she calls, play with me? I join her on the bench, adding harmony to her melody. Jason watches us, tears in his eyes. This is our truth. This is our healing. This is our family, built not through obligation or force, but through love and choice and music. Note by note, day by day, together, stronger than ever. The first day of David's trial brings summer heat and heavy humidity. Mai insists on coming to court despite my concerns, wearing her navy blue recital dress and holding my hand tight as we enter the courthouse. I need to see she explains when I ask if she's sure. I need to know he can't hurt us anymore. Jason meets us at the courthouse steps, dressed in a suit that makes him look older, more serious. He's testifying today about David's manipulation, about the years of emotional abuse, about the kidnapping plot he helped expose. The courtroom feels too small, too warm as we sit through opening statements. The prosecutor lays out the evidence. Methodically, David's escalating harassment, the falsified medical records, the cyber attack on our security system, the carefully planned abduction. David sits at the defense table, still immaculate in an expensive suit, but something has changed in his bearing. The mask of control has cracked, revealing glimpses of desperation beneath. Mai watches everything with those observant eyes that miss nothing. When David's lawyer tries to paint the kidnapping as a concerned father's misguided attempt at reconciliation, she grips my hand tighter. He's lying, she whispers, like David taught him to. Jason takes the stand first. His testimony is clear, devastating. He describes growing up watching David manipulate everyone around him, learning to participate in the abuse, finally recognizing the pattern and choosing to break free. When I saw Mai's face after they took her, he tells the jury, I knew I couldn't be part of his games anymore. She looked exactly like Mom used to look when Dad was angry, scared, but trying to be strong. David's lawyer attempts to discredit him on cross-examination, suggests he's lying to curry favor with me, implies his testimony is revenge for being cut off financially. No, Jason says firmly. I'm telling the truth because it's time someone did, because Mai and Mom deserve to be safe. During the lunch break, we sit in the courthouse cafeteria, picking at sandwiches none of us really want to eat. Mai leans against my side, humming softly under her breath. Is that the new piece you're working on? Jason asks, recognizing the melody. She nods. For the fall recital, Mom's been helping me practice. The afternoon brings more testimony. Police officers describing the kidnapping scene. Cybersecurity experts explaining how David's team hacked our system. Rebecca presenting the pattern of harassment and legal threats. Through it all, David sits perfectly still, watching everyone with calculating eyes. But when Mai takes the stand, something in his expression shifts. She looks so small in the witness box, but her voice stays steady as she describes being taken from our home, being held in her old foster home, hearing David talk about real family while fear kept her trapped. Were you afraid? The prosecutor asks gently. Yes, but I knew Mom would find me. Real family always finds each other. David's lawyer doesn't dare cross-examine her harshly. Even he seems affected by her quiet strength. When it's my turn to testify, I focus on Mai's face in the gallery. She sits between Jason and Angela, chin lifted, shoulders straight. I tell the court everything. The years of emotional abuse during my marriage, the manipulation of Jason, the attacks on my therapy center, the escalating harassment after Mai's adoption. Why did you think Mr. Chen would resort to kidnapping? The prosecutor asks. Because control was slipping away from him. The board rejected his money. Jason exposed his lies. The adoption challenge was failing. Taking Mai by force was his last attempt at maintaining power over us. David's lawyer tries to paint me as unstable, vindictive, suggests I turned Jason against his father, implies I used Mai to replace my estranged son. No, I tell him calmly. I helped my son break free from manipulation, just like I did. I adopted Mai because we chose each other, not to fill any void. Love isn't about replacement. It's about growth. The trial stretches into late afternoon. Mai's head droops against Jason's shoulder, exhaustion finally overtaking her determination to watch everything. Take her home, I tell him when the judge calls a recess. She's seen enough for today. Tucked into her brother's larger one. The sight brings tears to my eyes. David watches them go, something like real emotion crossing his face. They look like family, he says softly, almost to himself. They are family, I reply, just not the way you wanted them to be. The judge dismisses us until tomorrow. More testimony to come, more evidence of David's crimes, more steps toward justice and healing. At home, I find Mai and Jason at the piano, her showing him the simple chords of her new piece while Angela makes dinner in the kitchen. Like this, Mai demonstrates patiently, gentle on the keys like Mom teaches. Jason follows her example, producing a hesitant but sweet sound. I forgot how good this feels. I watch them from the doorway, my heart full of something stronger than fear, stronger than pain, stronger than any lingering trauma. This is our truth. This is our healing. This is our family, built through love and choice and music, note by note, day by day, together, forever strong. The jury takes less than 3 hours to find David guilty on all counts: kidnapping, cybercrimes, harassment, falsifying medical records. The judge sentences him to 15 years in prison, plus restraining orders protecting Mai, Jason, and me that will last last long after his release. David maintains his composure as the verdict is read, but I see his hands shake slightly when the bailiff approaches with handcuffs. "Sarah," he calls out as they lead him away. "I only wanted what was best for our family." "No," I tell him quietly. "You wanted control, and now you've lost it forever." Mai sits between Jason and me in the gallery, her navy blue dress slightly wrinkled from long days in court. She watches David disappear through the secure door with solemn eyes. "Is it really over?" she asks. "The trial is over," I tell her honestly. The healing continues. Outside the courthouse, autumn sunlight warms our faces. Rebecca hugs us all, even Jason, who has become as much her client as Mai and me. "The adoption is permanently secure now," she tells us. "No one can ever challenge it again." Mai's grip on my hand tightens. "Forever? Forever and ever," I assure her. The therapy center welcomes us back with open arms. The board has approved expansion plans, funded by legitimate grants instead of David's manipulative millions. New programs, new instruments, new ways to help children heal through music. Mai returns to in-person lessons, no longer afraid of who might be watching. Her talent blooms in the safety of certainty, her music growing more confident each day. Jason enrolls in graduate school, studying music therapy. He sits in on my sessions sometimes, learning how to use the passion David once mocked to help others heal. "I remember when you used to play for me," he tells me one evening as we clean up after a group session. "Before Dad convinced me it was silly and weak." "Music was never weak," I remind him. "It was always strength, always healing." At home, Mai practices for her fall recital. The piece she chose is complex, emotional, full of light and shadow, like life itself. "Mom," she calls from the piano bench, "will you help me with this passage?" I sit beside her, our shoulders touching. As we work through the difficult measures together, her fingers dance across the keys, sure and strong. Jason watches from the doorway, a gentle smile on his face. "You two sound beautiful together." Mai pats the bench beside her. "Come play with us. I can teach you the easy part." He joins us, 3 pairs of hands finding harmony on the keys. The music fills our home, replacing old fears with new joy. This is our truth. This is our healing. This is our family, built through love and choice and music, note by note, day by day, together, whole at last. Angela brings dinner, as she has so many times during the long months of trial and testimony. The center's staff arrives with dessert. Rebecca stops by with celebration flowers. Our home fills with people who chose to stand with us, who helped us fight for what matters most. Mai plays for everyone, her recital piece now perfect under her touch. When she finishes, the applause makes her blush with pride. "Your mom taught me everything I know about music therapy," Angela tells her. "Now you're teaching us all about courage." Later, after everyone leaves, the 3 of us sit together on the porch swing. Stars sparkle above us. Crickets provide nature's melody. "What happens now?" Jason asks softly. "We keep living," I tell him. "Keep loving. Keep making music." Mai leans against my side, humming her recital piece. "Keep being family." The security lights still blink steadily, but they no longer feel like warnings. Now they're just gentle reminders that we're safe, we're home, we're together. This is our truth. This is our peace. This is our family, built through love and choice. And music, note by note, day by day, together, forever free. The charity concert fills 1 year after David's trial. We've gathered to raise money for music therapy programs in foster homes. Mai's idea, born from her own journey of healing. She stands backstage in a new blue dress, no longer the scared girl from that first recital. Her fingers move through warm-up exercises with confident grace. "Ready?" I ask, adjusting her butterfly hair clip. "Ready?" She hugs me tight. "Love you, Mom." Jason appears in his performance suit, sheet music in hand, places in 5 minutes. The program opens with other young musicians, a violin solo, a vocal duet, a guitar ensemble. Mai watches from the wings, peaceful anticipation replacing old anxiety. When it's our turn, we walk onto the stage together. Mother, daughter, son. 3 pianos wait for us, gleaming under the spotlights. Mai takes the center piano, her posture perfect as she settles on the bench. Jason and I flank her on either side. The piece begins with Mai alone, playing Claire de Lune, just as she did at that first recital. But this time, when the melody swells, Jason and I join in with harmonies we've practiced for months. The music flows between us, 3 parts becoming one whole. No fear, no manipulation, no doubt. Through the stage lights, I see Angela in the front row, tears on her cheeks, Rebecca beside her, smiling proudly. The therapy center staff scattered throughout the audience. Mai's part grows more complex. showcasing how far she's come. Jason adds subtle emotional depth with his accompaniment. My own playing weaves through theirs, supporting, enhancing, completing. In the back of the auditorium, a figure stands watching. David permitted this one supervised visit before returning to prison. He looks older, smaller somehow without his expensive suits and practiced charm, but his presence can't touch us anymore, can't shake the foundation we've built through love and trust and music. The piece reaches its crescendo, 3 pianos singing together in perfect harmony. Mai's face glows with joy as she plays. Jason's hands move with newfound grace across the keys. This is our truth. This is our peace. This is our family, built through love and choice and music, note by note, day by day, together, forever strong. When the final notes fade away, the audience erupts in applause. Mai stands to bow, radiant with achievement. Jason and I join her, our hands clasped together. David slips out before the applause ends, but we hardly notice his departure too. Wrapped in the warmth of this moment, this triumph, this love. Backstage, Mai hugs us both. We did it. We really did it. You did it, I tell her. You showed us all how to be brave. Jason wipes tears from his eyes. How to be family. Angela finds us with flowers. Rebecca with proud embraces. The therapy center staff with plans for more concerts, more programs, more healing through music. Mai clutches her bouquet, breathing in the sweet scent. Can we play it again? At home? Whenever you want, sweetheart. Later, in our living room, we gather around the piano once more. Mai in the middle, Jason and I beside her. The music flows freely, joyfully, perfectly. This is our truth. This is our peace. This is our family, built through love and choice and music, note by note, day by day, together, forever whole.